Here's an interesting article from CNN. Says Christian leadership in the U.S. has typically been seen as a male occupation. The right for women to be ordained and serve as faith leaders has been hard won over decades, and in several major factions like the Roman Catholic and Southern Baptist churches, women are barred from the highest levels of leadership. However, among mainstream denominations that do ordain women, a sea change is occurring. More women are entering seminary and other theological programs with the intent of becoming priests. As it follows, more women are also occupying these roles after being ordained. Experts say one of the main reasons for the increase is that women of faith are looking at their religious traditions and sensing a need for change. Alexis Abernethy, a chief academic officer at Fuller Theological Seminary in Pasadena, California, says women and men in the church have seen abuse and suffering. They've seen the role of the patriarchy in the church. They want to address constructively some of these challenges that have been facing both the church and our society. They're saying enough of this. We need to be different. So I think a lot of these women are marshaling energy in that direction. And so it's an article all about this alleged change that's happening, where women are finally assuming leadership positions in the church, in churches all across America. Two quick points about that. First, it's a myth that churches in America have been run by men up to this point. So if more women are getting involved in churches, that's not a sea change at all. It's not any kind of change. That's just more of the same. Most churches have been run by women for the past several decades. Okay, maybe not in an official capacity or as pastors or priests in all of these cases, but women have been running the show in most churches for a long time. And anyone who's been going to church for any period of time knows that. I mean, even in the Catholic Church, where women cannot become priests, still your average Catholic parish, not going to have a female priest, but there will be, in almost every case, a gaggle of women who basically run things. There might be a liberal nun in there, one of those nuns that wears regular clothes, doesn't wear the habit. Maybe there's a female music director or something, other positions as well. But whatever the position the women have in the church, or maybe they have none at all, there are also going to be a lot of women who don't have an official position. They are just part of the congregation, and yet they have inserted themselves into all these different aspects of what goes on in the church. And they're very vocal, and they're very, if there's anything that happens that upsets them, it's whoever actually is supposed to be running the church, the pastor, the priest knows, it's like, okay, I want to hear from them about this. And they effectively run the church. And that is why, for years now, most churches have catered to women because they've effectively been run by women. Churches in America are already female-led. Okay, much to their detriment. That's because the last thing that we need here is more women in church leadership positions. That's the last thing we need. The church is already too feminized, too soft, too focused on feelings and emotions and being welcoming and inclusive. All of that is coming from liberal women in these churches, or most of it anyway. They're the ones driving this. The church, Christendom in America is what I'm talking about all of Christianity basically, with rare exception, is far too soft and feminine. And again, it's been that way for years. Adding more women into leadership, it's just going to drive that problem even more, which of course is what CNN wants. So they realize that. And it's a self-perpetuating problem. The more feminine the church is, the less men want to go. And the less that men want to go, the more women are in charge because there's no one else there. And the more they're in charge, the more feminine it gets, and the less men want to go. So the more women are in charge, the more feminine it gets, the less men want to go. And it's just on and on and on. That's a self-perpetuating cycle. It's really more of a death spiral, self-perpetuating death spiral for the church. C.S. Lewis, and I'm going to butcher the quote, I don't remember the exact quote, but he talks about how going to church, it should have the feeling of getting battle plans, you're in the middle of a war and you're meeting and you're going over your battle plans for the battle ahead. And you should have very much of that feeling of spiritual warfare. And you're all soldiers, and you're meeting together, and you're discussing what your battle strategy is going to be. That's the feeling that church should have. He put it much more eloquently than that. But that's right. That's what church should feel like. Because that's what it is. We're in the middle of a spiritual warfare, and that's what church is supposed to equip us for that spiritual warfare. And one of the advantages that we're supposed to have in going to church every week is that it equips us for the battle ahead for the next week. Like we're coming off of the battlefield and battered and bruised and from the past week of fighting it, and now we're collecting ourselves and we're getting ready to go back out into that battlefield again. But that's how it should feel. And if churches have that feeling, then you're going to have a lot more men showing up because that's what men want. You know a company is looking out for you when they actually upgrade your service and they don't charge you for it. This is great news for new and current Pure Talk customers. Pure Talk just added data to every plan and includes a mobile hotspot with no price increase whatsoever. If you've considered Pure Talk before but haven't made the switch, take a look again. For just $20 a month, you'll get unlimited talk, text, and now 50% more 5G data plus their new mobile hotspot. This is why I love Pure Talk. They're veteran-owned. They only hire the best customer service team located right here in the great USA. Most families are saving almost $1,000 a year while enjoying the most dependable 5G network in America. Remember, you vote with how you spend your money, so stop supporting woke wireless companies that don't support you. When you go to puretalk.com/Walsh, you'll save an additional 50% off your first month because they actually value you. That's puretalk.com/Walsh. Pure Talk. Wireless for Americans, by Americans. Grand Canyon University is an affordable private Christian university located in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. Praised for its culture of community giving and impact, Grand Canyon University integrates the free market system into their education, welcoming Christian worldview perspectives into over 320 academic programs with more than 260 of those programs online. Grand Canyon University's online programs are designed to make earning your degree easy and accessible no matter your age or stage in life. So why wait? If you're ready to take your education to the next level, find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu. That's gcu.edu. But that's not what churches feel like. That's not the, to use the, as the kids would say, that's not the vibe. Okay, that's not the vibe you get from most churches. Rare exception again, and I'm always going to hear from people say, well, my church's not like that. Well, then God bless you and your church. But most churches it is. It does not have the feeling of like spiritual warfare, battle plans, you're going to war, you're fighting the forces of evil. That is not the feeling. And it's all set up to not feel that way. Everything from the way that the churches are built now. You know, they're built to look like either they look like kind of these nondescript office building types, very sterile environments, or they look, you know, if it's a mega church, they look like just a concert venue and you know, an auditorium of some kind. But that's how they look. And then you go in and the music is very feminine music and everything about it. The message from the pastor, a very feminine message, always about welcoming and being nice and being friends. And men sit in there and they are bored to death by it. They are just bored to tears and feeling like they get nothing out of it. And they leave in droves. The women take over more, and it's, again, continues and continues. So this CNN is not reporting on a new development in churches, but rather just more of the same, unfortunately. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.